Hey everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Have you ever looked at your dog and thought, wow, we're not that different? The more Willa grows up and the more time we spend together, the more I realize just how similar she is to a human, specifically a toddler. I find myself talking about her quirks and personality, and when I mention them to friends with young kids, they always say, oh yeah, my kid does that too. Dogs aren't just pets, they're family. They read our emotions, pick up on our routines, and even mirror our behaviors. I love Willa's sass, her goofiness, her diva attitude, and her intelligence. She's cheeky, dramatic, and always seems to know exactly what's going on. I did a ton of research to see just how deep these similarities go, from biology and DNA to emotional and social behaviors. It's fascinating to me how much we share with dogs, not just in the way we love and care for each other, but even how our bodies function. So in this episode, I'm excited to dive into all the ways humans and dogs are alike. But at the heart of it, what amazes me most is the bond I feel with Willa. It's really a beautiful thing. Alright, let's dive in. The connection between humans and dogs isn't new. It goes back thousands of years. Dogs were the first species domesticated by humans, long before we farmed crops or raised livestock. As dogs evolved alongside us, they became more socially aware of our moods and behaviors. Ancient humans and dogs lived side by side, forming a partnership based on mutual survival. Over time, dogs developed shorter muzzles, smaller sizes, and puppy-like features to better integrate into human lives. From early civilization to modern homes, dogs have always been with us. They've walked beside us through history, and today they remain our most loyal companions. A study by Max Planck, Institute for Science of Human History, found that people and their dogs tend to have matching personalities. The strongest relationships form when owners and their dogs share traits like warmth, love of the outdoors, and generosity. I always laugh when I see videos of dog owners and their dogs starting to look and act alike, but there is truth to it. Dogs are known to mirror their owner's personality, and in some ways, we pass on our traits onto them. Ricky Gervais even touches on this in Afterlife, saying, "There are no bad dogs, only bad owners." We have an enormous influence over our dogs, their diet, grooming, exercise routine, and most importantly, how much love and attention they receive. So it's no surprise that we also help shape their personalities. The bond between humans and dogs isn't just emotional, it's behavioral too. Have you ever looked into your dog's eyes and felt an instant connection? That's because both dogs and humans release oxytocin, the happiness hormone, when interacting with loved ones. It's actually the same hormone that strengthens the bond between parents and children. Studies show that when humans and dogs look at each other, oxytocin levels increased by up to 48% in dogs and 300% in humans. Dogs also experience joy through play and social interaction, much like we do when we spend time with friends or family. At about 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. every day, Willa gets in the mood for playtime. She starts whining and bringing her toys to my lap, telling me it's playtime. She does this in the middle of meetings or while I'm watching TV, and as she gets older, she's demanding playtime more loudly. But I always feel like these playtimes are really important with our bond. Her tail wags so hard, she gets so excited when I set up mental games for her or I'm just on the ground pulling a rope with her. She's so excited and she's having such a great time. Even if it's just for 15 minutes, I know it means a lot to her. Dogs don't just love us, they understand us. Have you ever noticed that when you're sad, your dog always stays close to you? Dogs are wired to recognize human emotions and respond with empathy. Studies show that dogs respond to human tears, even if they're from strangers, by offering comfort. Dogs can read facial expressions and even distinguish between happy, sad, and angry human faces. Research from Japan found that dogs will shun people who are mean to their owners, showing a deep sense of loyalty. Have you ever had a panic attack, felt overwhelmed with anxiety, or just had an all-around lousy day? For me, these moments are when I actually feel closest to Willa. If I'm upset, she sits quietly beside me, gently nudging me as if to say, "I'm here." Sometimes she rests her head on my lap or presses her whole body up against mine, like she can sense my racing heart and instinctively knows how to ground me. It's incredible how dogs can tune into our emotions, offering comfort without a single word. Their ability to soothe us in these high-stress moments is nothing short of amazing. The American Kennel Club confirms dogs experience grief when they lose a human or a canine friend. Veterinary experts suggest dogs' emotions are tied to their owners' moods. When we're down, they feel it too. To help a grieving dog, experts recommend exercise, fun activities, and training to boost their spirits. I am fortunate that I haven't experienced intense grief in my life yet, so I won't pretend to understand its full weight. But I have gone through periods of depression in my life, and I can say with certainty that dogs make those low moments more bearable. They have an uncanny ability to sense when we're struggling and instinctively know how to comfort us. I've heard countless stories of families with 2 dogs. When one passes, the other grieves just as deeply, sometimes even more than the humans. This mutual understanding of emotion without words is a testament to the powerful bond we share with our dogs. In sadness and grief, we don't just lean on them, they lean on us too, and that's an incredible kind of relationship. Dogs are incredible social animals, just like us. Here's what the research shows. Dogs can read human emotions by observing our facial expressions and body language. Dogs follow our gaze. Studies in animal behavior show that dogs instinctively look where we look. Dogs display jealousy and have been seen reacting when their owners give attention to another animal. Love that one. Dogs process speech. They don't just recognize our words, but they also pick up on emotional tone. Willa knows when I'm talking to her versus when I'm just chatting with someone else. If I say her name with excitement, she's instantly alert. If I use a soft, soothing tone, she knows it's time to relax. These subtle cues show just how tuned in dogs are to human communication. If you're interested in learning more about tone of voice, check out my previous video. I talk about the high pitch, the low tone, the soothing tone, so check that video out if you're interested in more. Humans and dogs both thrive on mental stimulation. Just like we get bored without hobbies or activities, dogs need things to do too. Dogs, especially working breeds, need a job to stay happy. Herding dogs, for example, are naturally inclined to work and can get anxious if they're not mentally engaged. If you have a Vizsla like me, you know that we need to do walking, playing, mental games, and all of the cuddling as well. Lack of stimulation in dogs can lead to destructive behaviors, similar to how humans can feel restless or stressed without mental engagement. For Willa, learning tricks keeps her engaged. It's like how I feel when I take on a new challenge. I get excited, motivated, and more connected to my surroundings. Dogs and humans share lifestyles. Dogs and humans both need regular exercise to stay healthy. In fact, having a dog might just make you healthier, especially if it's a Vizsla. In 2020, less than 50% of Americans met recommended physical activity needs. However, dog owners are 4 times more likely to meet daily exercise recommendations than a non-dog owner. 73% of dogs get at least 4 hours of exercise per week, keeping both them and their owners active. We do about 3 hours per day, so we'd be on the high end of that. Taking Willa for walks isn't just about exercise, it's about spending time together, de-stressing, and staying healthy. It's a habit that benefits both of us in more ways than one. I've talked about this on the channel before, but my morning walk with Willa after I've had my cup of coffee and she's had her breakfast is the best part of my day. I love being able to spend 45 minutes on a hike before I start work. It makes me feel like my whole life isn't just wrapped around work, like I wake up and I start work. My life starts with me reading and drinking coffee and feeding Willa and then going outdoors with her and playing with her outside. My day isn't just about work, and it really helps me de-stress from my stressful work environment, and it's a really important part of my day now. When you think about most animals, cuddling with a human is rare. When it does happen, it's usually a surprising, heartwarming moment, but sometimes it might even feel risky. But with dogs, cuddling feels completely natural for both of us. It's one of the most instinctive ways we bond. One of my favorite things is when I'm hugging my boyfriend or curled up in bed, Willa immediately jumps up, determined to be included. She wiggles her way in between us at night like she belongs right in the middle. She loves cuddling just as much as we do, and in those moments, I feel our bond growing even stronger. Did you know 45% of dogs sleep in bed with their owners? 23% sleep in their own bed in the same room. 27% sleep in a different room. We've done all of these before. Willa used to sleep in a different room in our old apartment. She now sleeps in her own bed in the same room, and she sneaks up every night into our bed. I thought these stats were so interesting though, so I really wanted to share them with you all, and I also posted it as a short because I just love knowing what you guys are all doing, and seeing some stats around what other people are doing in this respect is really cool. But we lay in bed for about 1 hour every night before going to sleep, and Willa is allowed to stay on the bed until we turn the lights out. Then she sleeps in her bed in the same room. But every morning, without fail, she sneaks into our bed and I wake up cuddling her. And you guys all know that whenever my boyfriend is out of town, she's obviously snuggled up beside me all night long. As humans and dogs evolve together, our diets change together too. We can see these diet changes mirror each other consistently over the last 10,000 years. Believe it or not, but our gut microbiomes, the bacteria that helps digest food, are surprisingly similar. DNA studies show that dogs evolved to digest starch around the same time humans did, adapting to our agricultural diets. Ancient human and dog bones suggest they shared food for over 10,000 years. Our diet choices have changed together over time. Just as we started to eat more processed and packaged foods, we began feeding our dogs the same thing, which is kibble. I just found this data so wild, so I did post it on one of my stories, but I wanted to share it here with you all. But 58.7% of dogs eat commercially available kibble from a large brand. 20% of dogs eat boutique or specialty kibble. 5.7% of dogs follow a veterinary prescription diet. 4.2% of dogs eat human-grade ready-made dog food. 3% of dogs follow a home-cooked diet. And only 2.7% of dogs eat a raw diet. That means that 78.8% of dogs are eating a kibble diet only. Sad that they're not getting fresh food and especially meat, but I've been an advocate for that on this channel, so if you can take anything away from some of these, if you're eating a delicious steak or eating broccoli, just think about how you can add some of that fresh food to your dog's bowl as well. Willa eats high quality food just like I try to eat a balanced diet. It turns out that what we feed our dog matters just as much as what we eat ourselves. It's easy to see all the differences between humans and dogs, but under the surface, we have a lot in common. As mammals, we share the same fundamental anatomy: hearts, lungs, kidneys, muscles, skin, and bones. These similarities go beyond just appearance. They affect how we experience the world. Humans and dogs share 84% of their DNA, meaning that we are more closely related than you might think. Both species have complex nervous systems that process emotions, pain, and pleasure in similar ways. Our brains contain the same structures responsible for emotions. Dogs aren't just our pets, they're our biological, emotional, and social counterparts. From how we process emotions to how we form bonds, dogs and humans are strikingly alike. They're our partners, our family, and in many ways, our mirror. Living with Willa has shown me firsthand how much we understand and reflect each other's moods, habits, and even exercise needs. Every wag of Willa's tail, every nervous woof, and every quiet, cuddly moment together is a reminder of how connected we really are. So next time you look into your dog's eyes, know that they're looking back with love, understanding, and a connection that goes deeper than words. Thank you so much for watching this week's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a like, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.